Okay, I'm at 4120 Lora Avenue, and I believe this is Cheviot, and we're doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any structural issues, roof intrusion, anything that may be of concern to the buyer. And so we're going to be going in through the rear left stack if you're facing the house, and then I may make a move over to, there's another stack over in the far corner next to the washer and dryer. It's actually next to the dryer, and we're going to try to go through all this and make it all the way out to the main. Take a look at all this. So as soon as we get into the base of this, there's a little bit of water. It's not really unheard of to have a little bit of water here, and this line being a sink line will probably be fairly nasty, which is what I was worried about. Just because the food and everything, these lines are usually a lot nastier with the food coming through them on a kitchen sink than they are through a bathroom. So hopefully we can get through all this without too much building up on the camera. Be able to make sure that structurally this is all sound. There's a lot of buildup in this line, which I'm not real sure what this is all from. You may have some downspouts tied in. Maybe what's coming in high on this stack. And I just pushed through something soft, but could be pretty nasty. I'm hoping if I get through this, then I can get into some water. It's about 27 feet. So what we're hoping for here is we can find some water to rinse this camera off and see what we're looking at. That was about 27 feet as we came through, just as a reference on the bottom left-hand corner. I'm going to pause the video here. I'm going to try to run some water in the utility sink and see, hopefully we are past that point. We can get some water in there to rinse the camera head off. Okay, so I'm moving the camera around here. I've got the tried to run some water through the sink, but the sink's running pretty slow. I mean, at the very least, we're hoping we can get out to the main. And then if we can get out to the main, hopefully we can rinse the camera off there. The lateral does go out the back of the house, so I'm going to go through the other line either way. On the other side of the basement, just to be sure anything there. I'm not really having much luck here getting the camera rinsed off. out, so I'm probably pretty close to the main here. Starting to see a little bit of a flash. Okay, so I was actually out into the main on 10 feet. You can see really old brick main. If you look closely, you can see how huge that is, and there's brick, like a brick wall on the other side. So I am down in the water. As far as there's so much water running now, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. Now that we've got the camera rinsed off, I'm going to try to let that drain down a little bit and see what we can see on the way back. I'm going to go ahead and pause this for a second and let it drain down. Okay. I can see the water drained out. You can actually see what's going on with the line. This is probably based off the age of the house. There's probably clay pretty much the whole way out. Breaks, any structural issues. The pipe's going to look old and nasty either way. A little bit of roots here. But that's not major. That can be taken care of with some chemicals or something. A little bit more. No real major trees in the back, so it doesn't look like it would be much of an ongoing issue, but you can still treat it with a chemical every so often. You see some finger roots along the bottom of the pipe. I mean, mostly so far everything looks good structurally. Clay. Just had a little bit of roots, but that's not abnormal. And you usually see, it's one of the main things about clay, there's a section about every 3 feet. I mean, there's a connection every 3 feet between 3-foot sections. So there's just a lot of connections, a lot of connections that could, be weak spots for roots to get in and stuff. So it's pretty common to see them. But were very, very, very small amounts of roots. They're not obstructing flow at all. So now I can come back to this branch. Something coming in right here on the side here. There's just a lot of buildup in this line. Again, this could be from the sink. way, I would recommend running a jetter through this sink line. I'm actually going to close this up and I'm going to run some water down here. As I go through the other side, the other clean out, where we can kind of take a look and see if this is all just food buildup or if this is actual mud. Some already vertical. And so I didn't see a lot of structural issues. Well, I didn't see any. Just saw some mud, and we want to know if this is all just food buildup or if that is actually exterior mud. It could just be, obviously organic material when it breaks down basically turns into soil with a little help from bugs and worms and everything. But so I don't see any clay, which would have been a big indicator that it's exterior mud. This could all just be buildup, sink buildup from stuff coming down that line. But what I'm going to do here is I'm closing this line up here. This is the back left corner, which would actually be the closest to the main. And then I'm going to run a bunch of water to try to flush the line out a little bit here. And then I will, and then we're going to pause the video. I'm going to move the camera over and go back through the other stack and at least do that secondary branch, because the main line from there out looked like it was in good shape. I didn't see any structural issues, didn't see any problems with that line, at least from the house out to the main. So the only concern on this line so far was just all the food buildup and everything. And I may actually take this out without recording it, but I'm going to do a little investigating on where the downspouts run to see there's a puddle in the middle of the basement floor. We're going to see if maybe that is still tied into the storm. Those downspouts may be contributing to a backup in the floor drain. So again, I'm going to pause the video here. We're going to run some water in the rear left stack with that bathroom and sink and kitchen sink, and then we're going to run the line on the right hand side of the basement and at least check that branch so we can see how that's going, and then we'll come back to this and double check and see how well it's been rinsed out after we run a bunch of water. Okay, so we moved over to the other side, going in to check this branch. This is the line next to the dryer. Pretty much ties directly in right away into the main line, and we should be able to go, as we go forward, we should be able to see where that line runs in. And then picks up the main line. And there we are, right there. You can see with all the turbulence, it's probably coming in on the left there. Yeah, you can see it must come in from the left. You can see all the turbulence there, and then from here on, we're going to see some pretty good amount of flow. I just want to look at this a little bit, make sure that everything's flowing free and clear. You're going to have a little bit of water in spots just because we're running so much. We're running the tub, the kitchen sink and the bathroom sink all on that one line to try to flush out some of the goo. Make sure it all exits freely, and hopefully, since I ran my camera through, it's broken up some of that stuff. And like you can see there, it's a tiny bit of root intrusion. The reason why I keep hitting this is all spots that we've already inspected on the from the other side on the way back. It's just we've got so much water running that it's just built up more than usual, and I'm just running back through to try to make sure that there's no spots that we didn't notice, but now that we have the water running that it was catching or something. Like you can see all the roots, it will require maintenance. In the long run, you may have to, you can have it checked every few years, or you could put a chemical called Root-X. That's like the brand name. It's like a Kleenex to a tissue kind of thing. And that brand name, it's like a foaming chemical that you can put down your sewer line, and it's supposed to like catch on the roots and kind of burn the roots back. It won't kill the tree or anything. It'll just burn back the roots that are getting into the sewer line. You could do that. I mean, the little bit of roots that are here would take years for this to even get to a major issue. I mean, a lot of times you're talking, 5 to 10 years. This little, the roots that are here. But if you are worried about it, it can be something that you could look at in a couple years and either have it re-inspected to see how fast they're growing, or just dump some chemicals down it and have somebody check it 5 to 7 years. This is all normal for the pipe material and age of the house. To have a little tiny bit of roots like that, it's actually very, very small amount. That's about the worst roots we've seen at all, and it's very, very little. Should be branching off here shortly and coming into the other line to get out of that main line. Here we go. Now we've come back to before the connection for the first level bathroom and kitchen. So I think what we have here is I'm wondering if the stuff that's in the middle of the basement floor that we found, the water, may actually be from floor drain backing up. maybe with when we have a lot of heavy storm or something, if these downspouts are tied in, I believe they are, it could be contributing to, just overloading the sanitary and then causing some backups. But that line looked really good too. Everything looked nice and clean, nice and smooth. So I'm going to pause the video again. We're going to go back over. We're going to go through that first line again, just to go through the short branch, to check that again and try to push out some of that debris that was laying in there. Okay, so this is going to be the final pass. We've got water running. We're back on the stack on the left side of the rear of the basement. Got a standoff on the front, which is kind of like a star on the ends of the camera. And we're going to try to go down here. We should have water going in pretty much right away. And we're going to try to see if this is flushed out at all. Actually does look like we've got a bunch of this stuff out of here, kind of pushing it out until it ties into the main line. So I think we've cleared a lot of the gook out of there. Gook is the scientific name for it. So, all right, there's those bits of debris. It's like toilet paper. Use this moment too to recommend that you don't use any wet wipes in any of the bathrooms. Even on brand new pipe, they can cause problems. They do not break down, and so if they get caught on anything, they will hold everything else up. And so they're a major problem if they get stuck on any of this grease or something like that. They will cause backups quick because they won't break down enough to go down the line. They'll just get stuck, and then everything else will get stuck behind it. May have actually gone up another section of pipe. I think I'm going upstream. I think I may have gone up the other. Maybe a good thing. I'm inspecting pipe that we didn't see before. This looks like it's all full of junk. So this may actually be a downspout. I'm actually going to pause the video here and go get a locate and find out where we are. Because if it was downstream, there would be water following the camera. Somehow, the camera with the little star on the front got caught and went upstream, which could be pretty good news. And we're going to pause here and get a locate. Okay, so this is a downspout line, which is why it's so full of mud and debris. So we do have a tie-in from the storm. And so what I believe is happening is under heavy rain, the system is getting overloaded. And that's what's backing up in the center of the basement. As you can see all this buildup. I mean, they could try to, flush this out, maybe jet the downspout lines. To clear this out, that wouldn't help if it was getting overloaded, because it'd be just too much water. You could disconnect the downspout lines, and that would help. Being that, try to take them out and just dump them out onto the ground somewhere. You want them to at least be 3 to 5 feet away from the foundation when you dump it out. You don't want to dump it right down on the side of the house. You want to get the water away from the house, away from the foundation, or else it'll just come back in, basically. Here we are back in that line. Done a pretty good job of clearing this line out with all that water running and stuff on the front of my piece on the front of my camera here, but there's just toilet paper and stuff built up around the top edge of it. Get this broken up here. This is all, that looks like cardboard that's been breaking down in the water, and maybe that's what you're seeing, but that looks like cardboard in front of us. There we go. I think we got rid of most of it. It looked like a big old chunk of cardboard. Okay, so I think we've got that line cleaned out. We went all the way to the main twice. This all looks good structurally. We just had all kinds of weird stuff packed up in this line, probably from sitting empty, and food, debris, and stuff from the kitchen sink. But pulled all the way back out. And so I didn't find any structural issues, which is a good sign, obviously. Just from sitting empty, it was full of stuff that hardened and kind of built up in that line. And then as far as the basement floor drain, I believe there's a drain underneath the raised floor in the center. And I think what's happening is under heavy rains, because the downspouts are hooked in, it's overloading the system and backing up into that floor drain. And so the first step, hopefully, just by unhooking them and running them out to ground, that would alleviate some of the pressure on the main system going out to the main. And that would be enough to keep it from backing up in the basement floor, as long as there's not some badly capped spot where they had capped the old drain and maybe groundwater getting in there, but based off of what I've seen, I'd say it's probably just an overload of the system. But we are going to go outside. I'm not going to record this part, but I'm going to go outside and put a camera through one of the downspouts and just check to see, where they connect. So, but everything looked good structurally, and so I'm just going to recommend some, just to kind of pay attention, maybe a reinspection in 5 to 7 years to check the growth of those roots, or put a treatment down there. But other than that, the line looked good. So that's going to end the inspection at 4120 Lora Avenue in Cheviot, Ohio.